seated. The heavenly enlightened. The heavenly enlightened. I said heavily. Heavily. It's not heavenly. Heavily. If you look at this place, I will give you a gift. I want to tell you this thing that is very, very important on earth and in eternity. Please, this is one of the things I want you to get this night. Very, very important. Out of all the desire of man on earth and the eternity, the number one desire of God for man is to be preserved. I don't want to rush anything. I said, out of all the desires, the wishes of God for man, number one, capital. When you hear it, so if you heard what I said, I would like you to thank God for hearing that I just said it. Out of all the desire of God for man, the number one of such a desire, of such desire, is that God wants you to be preserved. Now, the preservation of a tripartite man. Now, I would like you to hear me. God want us to take out of him the urge to preserve us. The desire for take out of him the urge to preserve us. God wants us to preserve ourselves. So when you are talking about a God man, you're talking about somebody who understands preservation, or if you like, a preserved man. Now, God, the greatest value of every man on earth is to be preserved. Now, please, if you look up here, I'm going to give another gift. If you have quality to be preserved, you will not beg for preservation. Let me say it again. If you have quality to be preserved, you will not pray for preservation. Now, let me give gift number 3. Can you still look up? God wants us to have quality to be preserved, not begging him to preserve us. He wants us to have quality to be preserved, not begging him to preserve us. Dominion can only be exercised by preserved people. To be preserved is to have dominion. I don't know what I said it very well. Have I said it very well? I said to be preserved is to have dominion. Now let me say it this way. Since the world began, God have never taken the responsibility of preserving any man, and he will not. It's just like God have never taken the responsibility of making men rich or giving men immortality. It's not the duty of God to take responsibility. I say it's not the duty. All the people that want God to take responsibility for these 3 things, they all got frustrated Because it is not the duty of God to do that. Number one, those who want God to make them rich, God frustrated. Two, those who want God to preserve them, God frustrated. And number three, those who want God to do for them what they are meant to do for themselves as per dominion. Now, if you hear what is called, if you hear the word God-man, you're talking about a preserved personality. When you hear a God-man, somebody who is born to exercise dominion for God because he is preserved. A God-man is somebody who is born to exercise dominion for God because that God-man has preserved himself. Excuse me. God does not, please hear me. God does not trust people who are not preserved. Anytime God wants to bless a man that is not preserved, God will be afraid. Please hear me. God does not give tangible blessings to people who are not preserved. God hide himself in men to preserve them. In chapter 7 verse 1 of the book of Exodus, I would like you to look at that scripture. Please, if you look up, I will give you this gift. If you look up, I will give you this gift. Thank you. What, when you hear that a man is poor, a poor man is somebody who is not preserved. A poor man is somebody who is confused. A poor man is a wanderer. God does not give money to wanderers. Trying to ask God to bless a man who has not settled down is precarious. God is offended when we are praying for confused people. All the pastors that their years in ministry, we are not rewarded. We are pastors who were not tactical in ministry. Because they were not apostles, they invested in so much energy in wrong direction. For instance, they run prayer ministry, which persuade them to pray for people they don't know, which also persuade them to pray, to try to tell God to bless people who were not made ready for blessing. Did you hear what I said? God gets offended when we persuade him to bless people who didn't make themselves ready for blessing. Any blessing in the hand of a wrong person is a lost blessing. Listen, the reason these four ministries we always have problem, these four type of ministry we always have problem is for what I'm about to say to you or what I've already said. Number one, a man that said God called him into prayer ministry, we end in a very bad way. He will end in a bad way. Number two, a man that says God that his ministry is healing, we end in a bad way. Somebody who says God asked him to pray is a prophet. He's a deliverance minister. He's an evangelist. These are wounded men. These people are terribly wounded. Is it because of their limitation in knowledge? It is not given to them by God to be independent. There are calls that are not meant to be independent. When a man makes those calls independent, he dies. Aaron was a prophet. Aaron was not meant to have an independent ministry. He must not. You see, because Aaron was not meant to meet God direct. Now, not having ability to meet God direct means that Aaron is subjected to temporary confusion. Somebody who cannot meet God direct will always be confused per time. So God gives him a man that is spiritually and mentally stable. And such a man will have this ability, behold similitude. That is, know God the way God knows you. I am going to be preaching until it is 4. And I didn't come with paper. There's no paper with me. God said to Aaron, he said, you will not have me. God said to Aaron, you will not have me. Don't look for me. I am already in Moses for you. God said to Aaron, I am inside Moses for you. Don't ignore Moses and be looking for me. May God bless you if you had it. Now, a lot of people are like Aaron, but they said they have prophetic ministry. Hear me. God will never try to teach you something you are not meant to know. He will never do it. And God will never try to teach you directly something he has told a man to tell you. I am going to heavily enlightened. So if you hear a God man, you're talking about somebody who is heavily enlightened. When Jesus said, I am the light of the world, that is light personified, he's talking about heavily enlightened. It is that type of enlightenment that made him a God man. Because it is what he knows that made him a God man, that made him a Messiah. It is by knowledge that we emancipate. Emancipate. So if God asks you to do deliverance, he tried to reveal to you why people are in bondage, and then ask you to speak to them freedom from revealed truth. In John 8, 32, you shall know. And then the revelation you know shall set free. So when what a man is meant to know is hidden from him, the man is afflicted. Now the word affliction is tantamount to bondage. So let me take it one, you will get it. In chapter 7:1, I want to bring out two things of Exodus. He said, and the Lord said to Moses, he said, see, I have made thee a God to Pharaoh. Now, to be a God is an opportunity God gives only to God men. Now, it's not something you pray and fast to get. And then he said to Aaron, he shall be a prophet. God didn't say that Aaron should be a general prophet of God. It's not what he said. He said, Aaron shall be your, not mine. No, not God's prophet. A lot of people who are calling themselves God's prophet are not. They are prophet of gods. What do I say? Huh? They are prophets of gods, not prophet of God. But some of them rebel to become prophets of the capital God. Or the God that they are prophet to is a God in a man. God who uses a man to talk to them. Now, some of them rebel against this man and start looking for God in the stellar firmament. God does not live in the heaven, in the stellar heaven. He lives in the heaven of a man. Have I made a point? God lives in the heaven of a man, not in any stellar heaven. If you don't have a man, then you don't have God. There is still something there I will share on the mediatory ministry of God men. It's there for me tonight. Don't forget that what you know is part of riches. Chapter 4, 15 and 16 of Exodus. You will like that. I'm going to read 2 more scripture on it, then I'll go on. Or 3 more. And thou shalt speak unto him,
and put words in his mouth,
and I will be with thy mouth,
and with his mouth, and will teach you what ye shall do.
Yes.
And he shall be thy spokesman unto the people.
And he shall be,
even he shall be to thee instead of a mouth,
and thou shalt be to him
instead of God.
Thank you. God said to Aaron, you are the mouth of Moses, not my mouth. You are mouth of Moses. And Aaron, don't look for me in the heaven. Find me in Moses. (82 verse 1 of Psalms). Excuse me. What is sustaining death in the church? Sustaining death in the church, D-E-A-T-H, is that people who should be mouthpiece of gods are independent. So what they do more is to swindle, deceive people. They build altars that doesn't exist. They minister from grave. Psalm 82:1. God standeth in the congregation
of the mighty, he judgeth among the gods.
Thank you. Now, the word judge among God means he consults, he depends on. He doesn't consult with mouthpiece like Aaron. But when I start teaching about relevance, I will teach you why a lot of prophets don't want to go to God men. Because Aaron, being a prophet of Moses, was a relevant man. It will take a lot of humility, particularly in the Gentile world, for a young man to be relevant and is still under. That is, he has attention. In case you don't know, when Moses went to the mountain, the Jews went to Aaron and told him that Moses is not around and he should lead. That means those 3 million people believe in Aaron because they were seeing with Moses. Now, that particular platform is what empowered Aaron's heart to be against Moses, because he was getting attention of the people. And you know the way people are, the way people are, when there are diverse manifestations, the fickle might find it difficult to understand the difference between Aaron and Moses. The fickle. When they are Aaron was already using the rod of Moses in case, so he was also a miracle worker. And he was already getting attention. I know the way human beings are. Sometimes they will forget that, this is Aaron, this is Moses. And Miriam was also leading of women. She used to organize deliverance meeting for women on Tuesdays. And then the Bible says she was a great singer. She was a great and Onyamoma. Obiana said, Madam Koleka Lakaya Barakaya. Aye. Be careful with what I create again. I want a Tuesday meeting as a prophetess. So at the Omuwai, we are attending Tuesday meeting. I know they are more in number. I said they are. No, they are more in number, so they were there making noise. On Tuesday meetings, they were more in number. I said they were more in number. She would pour oil on them and make accurate prophecy. And that attention she was getting, and Aaron was also getting, made them afraid. They would say, he said, did God only talk with Moses? What about us? We're also relevant in the camp. At least we know what we're in charge of. When I read now in 2 Corinthians chapter 4, 3 and 4, that Satan tried, Satan fought hard to be a God. I say he did what? To be a God. Because he wanted preservation. Preservation attracts immunity. Listen, there is a measure of light you will have in you. You will get things by wishes. By wishes. Let me say again. I said there is a measure of light you will have in you. You will get things by mere wishes. That is, you just wish it. 2 Corinthians chapter 3:4.
But if our gospel be hid, it is hid to them that are lost, in whom the God of this world hath blinded the mind.
Satan is a God also. Now I have made this point. I have made it. I'm talking about heavenly enlightened of. Now I would like you to listen. It is the soul of God men that made them what they are. When you hear that somebody is a God, you're talking about soul value. It's my major. It's in my heart. What I'm sharing is in my heart. When you hear that somebody is a God, you're talking about value of the soul. And I want to thank God for what I'm about to start saying. It is the light in the soul that make men gods. I want 5 people here to give seed before I tell you something else. On gods and their souls. I mean, God, I pray for you, whether you are watching online or you are in this hall tonight. I pray for you that you are favored to about to hear what you are about to hear this night. Now, this I'm about to say tonight have never been said anywhere, and that is the authority of darkness. What do I call it? The authority of darkness. Please, can you look up? You don't win major battles in life through prayer. You win major battles in life by taking systematic step of transformation to put light in your soul. Because Satan is made a God by the light of his soul, you cannot win him. You cannot win him with prayer. The light in the soul of Satan that made him a God protects him. The light in the soul of men protects them. Please, I will give you 1 minute to write what I'm about to say in your paper. There is one job out of all the job you will do for yourself on earth, that when you accomplish it, you will be happy forever, both here on earth and in heaven. And can you ask me what that job is? Take light of revelation from your spirit, pass through the door between the spirit and the soul, and transfer that light in your soul, to your soul, through the art of meditation. You will do it willingly. You will do it willingly and patiently. I said you will do it willingly and patiently. There is nothing you can do for yourself on earth that is more profitable. Excuse me, there is nothing you can do for yourself on earth that is more profitable than taking light, revelation and light. As you're getting it step by step, as you are getting it now step by step, I will be getting deeper into what I'm sharing. So I am still here at this shallow level. Keep following me because I'm going to get deeper into that. Listen, God does not put light in your soul. Prayer does not put light in your soul. Meditation does. And the meditation is not the activity of God. It is the activity of man. Meditation. Please, if you look up, I'll give this gift. Huh? If you go to sanctuary or power, huh? What is called occultism is to get power without light in the soul. And anybody who did it will die. Let me say it again. I said to get power without light in the soul is called occultism. So power, real power, is not a function of prayer. It's a function of meditation. And the putting light in the soul is what converts men into gods. And can I tell you something? No, you will not get it very well. If you didn't give seed, you won't get it very well. You will take it for granted. So let two people come out with a seed so that you can get it. You won't get it very well. You will, if I said this expensive thing now, you won't get it very well. But I want you to get it very well. Remember that this thing I'm talking about that is very expensive. Some of us who are 40 years, who are 35, who are 50, has been wounded because you don't have it. So if you're 50 and you're hearing it for the first time, then pain is already in your life for long. If you're 30 years now, and this I'm about to say, you're hearing it for the first time, then you are wounded greatly for 30 years. Then you have lost an important aspect of your life to make you cry. And what is it? What am I saying? The capital job Moses did for 80 years. For 80 years, is just to transfer light into his soul. Nothing else. The capital job Elijah did before he came out, when we didn't know him, what he was doing in the secret was transferring light in the soul. What Jesus did for 30 years was to transfer light into his soul. But pay attention to me. Pay attention to me. I want to ask you, what ratio is 3 to 3.5? I mean, what ratio is 30 to 3.5? Then you will know how important meditation is. I mean, if you call it meditation, it will look like you are used to it. What makes God men too much? Makes God men what? You know, when you hear God men, why they are too much is one reason. One, I said God men are too much for one reason. Just one reason. Why there are only 3 in the Bible is for this one reason. And why Satan fear only them? I said why Satan fears only them is for this one reason. They understand that light in the soul ends the work. You know, as you're looking at me, I want you to know that your soul is a bank. Your soul should be a bank of knowledge where money is stored. I say your soul, I want you to understand that your soul should be a bank of knowledge. A bank. Now, there is nobody that have enough light in that bank that is poor physically. There is nobody that have enough light in that bank that is sick. There is nobody that have enough light where? In that bank. There is nobody that have enough light where? In that bank that died. I said there is nobody that have enough light where? In that bank. So God men, you know the soul is a cauldron. It's a cauldron of destiny. Where values are stored. Excuse me. I want you to look up. This thing I'm telling you. You know, when you hear secret society, when you hear secret society, like Illuminati, like Amok, they build their ministry on bank of knowledge. What I said, where did I say they build their ministry? So they don't look for convert. They know you will come. They know you will come on your own. Please hear me. If you don't have light that can make a billionaire, you are wasting your time. Money does not respond to effort. Money will never respond to effort. If money try to go to the hand of a dark man, darkness will suffocate money. Excuse me, I promise God something. I promise God to change you. It's a vow in my spirit. And I will try as much as I can to make sure that the way you look at things is altered. Just keep listening. Let me emphasize that the difference between a God man and ordinary man is that God man knows that it is only light. That it is only light that makes a God man. And hear me. Please listen. Listen. Are you listening? Why you have to listen to me is, if you join occultism, this night or after, or you're an occultic man this night, you need to hear me. What they teach you in occultism is a joke. What they teach in Illuminati, the knowledge of Illuminati is a joke. Now, why they use the seventh book of Moses to do power, to do triangle, to do, you know they do triangle. Triangle is a soul drawing. Triangle is a, listen to me, triangle is a, if you're occultic, you're just a joke. You don't know much. You will need to hear me. I want to end occultism this night here. Triangle is what? It's a soul drawing. And then how does it function? The triangle is the third point that appear from the two eyes through continuous looking. I said the triangle is the third point. In case you, please hear me. The triangle, this I'm telling you, is the source of all power for every human being. I don't know whether I should stop it. I don't know whether I should stop it. Am I taking risk? And is it risky? But some strangers can hear me. If there is no light in the soul, there is no real power. If there is no light in the soul, every other thing is magic. I say, if there is no light, every other thing is. Now, allow me to explain the two eyes that brought the third point. I would like you to listen. If an occultic man sees you, or it doesn't, anybody who have eyes sees you, the person looks direct to a place called your forehead. Now, the forehead represents the star of your destiny. Now, that forehead has star. Every forehead has a star. Now, can I tell you how some people's star are blood, and it is not possible for any spirit to bless a blood star. I don't know what I'm taking risk. I don't know what I'm taking risk. Judge, am I taking risk? Should I? Am I teaching what you're not supposed to know? Okay, close the doors. If I keep standing here and it is 4, you will honor me. If what I'm about to say now, you hear it, you will honor me. The 2 eyes are human eyes. This one you use in seeing me. It doesn't separate us because everyone has it. What separates us is the third eye. Now, the one that represents the star that reveals your value. Now, it is the light of that star in your forehead that tells us who you are. Nobody can hide it. Many years ago, a young girl that was initiated into water court came to me and I looked at her. I looked at her and I saw a snake on that star. And I took my palm, the thumb, and went to that star and pressed my hand on it. She almost died. I say, if I don't destroy this star on your forehead, you will keep connecting to water kingdom. Because that is where your power is. They put power of snake on your forehead to make you a wanderer. All the people that are rich, they are rich from their forehead. All the people that are prostitutes, they are prostitutes from their foreheads. All the people that steal, that are armed robbers, it is their forehead that made them armed robbers. Now, how do you increase the light of this star? It is a revelation only God men have. I say it is a revelation only God men have. It's a revelation only God men have. And their ability to understand the power of that star is why they are God men. How do you increase the brightness of and the quality of that star? Nothing else. By allowing your 2 eyes to look at a definite direction all the days of your life. To allow your 2 eyes to see one thing all the days of your life. Power can only be taken when it is given. So if power is not given, it cannot be taken. Sometimes people try to take power that is not given. I don't want to mention the name of some pastors who died because they used power that was not given. I'm tempted to tell you like 3 people, 3 big men of God were into miracle workers. In fact, the 3 most important miracle workers of Nigeria are people who use power that was not given. And none of them got to 60 years. It's not possible. If you use power that is not given, they will shorten your days. If you trade with money that is not given, now you people are looking at me. Is there anybody who understands what I mean by using power that is not given? Huh? Huh? Why you look? Do anybody understand using power that is? Huh? Huh? Reverend, you saying you understand? Bring microphone. Awesome God, some God, mighty God, give you praise. Awesome God, you are lily. Awesome God, you are lily. Yes, Reverend Chicks.
That is using power outside that light. Power that is acquired outside spiritual light.
Half or 1/4. You didn't fail completely, but you didn't get it 100%. Put your hand together. That's come. Yes.
Using power
that is not
given.
That is not given. Yes.
Is power that you didn't get from transformation. That is, you use something you transform into. Then when you are using it, because of your transformation, you are preserved. It doesn't hurt you. Because you have a place.
Yes. Put your hand together. That's beautiful. That Pastor Ma is done. Just keep your microphone. I will come. Now, power should bring transformation before use. That is why when you start using it, those who know power will be looking at the process that produced it. Now, the process that produces have to be in time, in experience, and in character. Let me say again. The process that produces that power must be in time. That is the number of years. The number of years you stay to transfer light from your spirit to your soul through meditation. They will find it out, because that is how power is gotten. And then they will also check the number of the character that transformation has produced in you. The character of that transformation. And then they will also look at your age. They will also look at your age. Why some young musicians join Illuminati, or some people get rich or anointing early and die. You see, because if you keep using power that is not given, what it means is death. If you join occultic, if you go to occultic houses, masters don't die. Those that die are members. Clap hand for me to have told you. No, masters don't die. No, masters don't die. Those who generate the power of occultism, they don't die. Those that die are those that they initiate. Now, those that they initiate are not custodians of the power. And they are not worthy of the power. They don't have the experience and the character of that power. So when they come, these people confer on them honor they don't deserve, and then take their soul cheap to do trading, because occultic house is a place of business. They take their souls in a cheap way to Satan. That is why there is no occultic house that doesn't have sign. Somebody come and he will do like this. Just now, when he did like this, there are wrestlers that do it, even girls. Now, and there are some that are not even ashamed of themselves. They bring the sign of triangle. Excuse me, there cannot be power without triangle. Any human being that is on earth that doesn't understand triangle does not know anything. Do you know why African native doctors are not rich, and why idolatry is going away? Why idol worship is going away in Africa? Do you know why it's going away now? Huh? And it will eventually fade. Because the native doctors in Nigeria or around Africa here, they use leaves and practice to get power. And the leaves and practice, power that is acquired from leaf and practice, we kill the person who have it. Please, don't look for money without connecting to a source. And if two people give seed to the altar, I will tell you why. I say, don't look for money when you don't have a source yet. And don't respect money until you know the source. Don't look for power without getting a source. Can I tell you why? The reason is simple. If spirits can venge the realm, and if you keep on appearing in the realm of the spirit with curiosity, either to get or to know, other powers will take you. Some of the pastors that are practicing occultism, I feel like telling us two people or three. Should I mention their name? And they are all dead. Can I tell you what killed them? They trapped them in the realm of the spirit when they were doing long fasting. when they were doing long fasting, they trapped them in the realm of the spirit when they were doing long fasting, and gave them the power of a Messiah that is not risen. Gave them of that is not risen. Now, what I mean, the power of a Messiah that is not risen, they gave them power without source. I don't know whether you. Huh? When they trapped that guy because he's doing fasting and prayer long without source, they will give him power of a Messiah that is not risen. But they cannot do it except they imprison him so. Now, when they imprison him so, they determine how long he will stay. How long he will stay? How long he will do what? He will stay. Now, that guy can be preaching with Bible because they are, and some of them who are popular in the church. I'm tempted to mention them. I'm tempted to mention them. Now, when they trap them and give them power without source, they condemn them. They condemn them. Now, condemning them simply means they will be operating power and been doing atrocities. You see, because the power came with death, and in death there must be sin. May God bless my soul. So when you see somebody who was a former member of that church trying to say there is something going on inside this place, there's something that is going on, or social media people come up and begin to lament some things. It's not some of those things that social media people lament that is false. Now, some of those something that look like criticize, talk against, is that some of those people who are, even though they're not using a good channel, some of those people who are talking against that thing, they understand pattern, how things should be. Yes, what is called ordinance, principles, because power have principles. I say success has principles. I diverted to using power that is not given. Now, using power that is not given is try to use power that is not yet in your soul. God said to Moses, "Go now, because you are a God now." That is receiving power, because he is no longer Moses, he has become a God. And then he is a god from valley. When people join occultism, and they are not masters, they are not masters, they will use them for sacrifice. The masters will use them for sacrifice to sustain that place, because place of blood must be sustained by blood. Occultic houses, secret societies are place of blood, and they need blood to sustain it, and they will use blood of ignorant people who want things to sustain it. Can I say something to you? Can I say something? All who were killed through terminal diseases, they were killed because they were trapped in sanctuaries of power and made prisoners, and then they desecrate their body. Death means desecrate somebody's body. You cannot, when I am through with this sharing, I will tell you to open the door. I will soon be, but if somebody is under pressure, the person can still go out and then close the door, close back the door. Now, I would like you to listen. I don't know whether I should continue with this deep. Huh? Third John 2. Third John 2. Beloved, I wish above all things that mayest prosper
and be in health
as
thy soul prospereth.
There are three prosperity there. Three things. The beginning of that prosperity is soul prosperity. Now, when you say that somebody is dead, it means that person has been devalued. That is, the body was desecrated. That is, the body was dishonored. That is why they took him to morgue to assist in his decay. Because if you didn't take him to a place, he would start smelling. Now, that process, what causes it is strange power. It is negative power that is responsible for that. Now, those who want power, quick, they die earlier than others. If you want God to give you power, you didn't, the power you have not received. Huh? I said, if you use power you have not received, they will take your life. Yes. I said, if a man uses power he has not received, before the man dies, there are two things that must happen. If he insists of continuous fame, his days will be short. Number 2, or he will live without relevance. Now, because they want relevance, they prefer to die. And sometimes you see these idiotic people who are ignorant, saying that they want to be with the Lord. There are practices that can represent God. Now, if you're a child of God, you should be able to see it. And can I tell you something? We don't need to criticize it. The 8, we wound it. What I said? The 8, we wound it. Let me go on to something. I'm going to continue on this till another 15 minutes. Those movements that are there is stopped now. That movement is ended. I know that I was going to say this in this meeting, but I didn't know I would go to this deep. If you look at Ezekiel chapter 11, the Bible said there are 2 men that devise evil work in Jerusalem. They are Pelatiah and Jezaniah. Then they say, Jerusalem is our cooking pot. That is a soul language. Huh? There are soul languages. And this language of the soul is not being spoken in the church. And somebody want to be rich. And somebody want to be powerful. How can... He said Jerusalem is a port. He said, and people there are meat. Now, the way Lagos is, Nigeria is a port. It's a soul language. Do you know that heaven was built from the soul of Jesus? There are some pictures of Jesus. I don't know what I should say this. Should I say it? There are pictures of Jesus like Catholic. When you see it, rays of light will come from. They will do it like this. You will see light. And then they will put something that look like heart. Like heart. And then light will come. Now that is so simple. They are trying to tell you that is the value of that life. That the light of that soul is the value of that life. Don't take it. Don't learn nada. Don't learn Hamenehi Hazuha Hedrao Je Hedrao. Hedra. It's in that realm. It's from God. But Satan knows there is no replacement. So he copied it negatively. And because the church don't want power, they are drifting towards occultism. I said because the church, if you are hearing me now and you are powerful, you will know you should connect to this thing that is going on here now. Because you see, if it's in the sanctuary of power, they won't allow you to sit down here. They won't allow you to sit down here to receive power freely. We don't give power to people freely. That's why there are some things you don't teach people until they pay. Because power that transfers through knowledge cannot be given freely. And do you know what they don't look for converts? Blessings or riches or power that light should give you. If you don't have power, if you don't pay for that light, you can't get it. A destiny that should come with immortality of brightness. If somebody doesn't have that brightness, he cannot enjoy that immortality. So they are not begging you. Let me stop this way, because I am going to go on now. You know, I said in the course there that hellfire is not meant for sinners. No, there's no sinner in hell. As a matter of fact, if there is any place where hellfire is, it's in Africa. And that is where there is plenty churches. Hellfire is the dome of valueless people. And the people that will suffer so much in hell are false justifiers. Now, what a false justifier is somebody who promised valueless people a place in heaven. A place in a kingly dominion where value is everything. If you promise valueless people a space in the city of relevance, then you are a false justifier. And that is why the people who will see in hellfire will be surprised, those that will go to hellfire. And we don't need to die to go. Those who are on their way to hellfire, they live the life of hell here. That lady that water soaked her Dunlop since 3 weeks, and she brought it to the reception, and all the feel everywhere. Extended into my office until I started shouting. Did she not come to reception with her just to take my life? There are people that when they see them, they call themselves children of God. I say, you can't be. You are evil. How can a valueless person be a child of a king? You just wake up, you are irresponsible, and you say that your father is a king. How? Because you made a false justifier. Let me go back in 5 minutes to help you with how do you increase the brightness of your star. Don't forget, if the brightness of your star increases, you will not suffer. I said the power must be triangular. Must be triangular. That is the, when you hear triangle, when you hear triangle, that is 3 points, the 3 junction points. It means the blending of humanity with divinity. The blending. Now, because the church don't teach what I teach, the blending of humanity with true divinity, people go to sanctuaries of power. They go to occultic houses where the triangle is taught. But they get that knowledge from Moses. Moses is the first person who taught it. Because Yeshua didn't do soul work. The church don't understand soul work. Yeshua didn't do more of soul work. That is the owner of the church. Because he didn't stay long on earth. So the church is not rich. When somebody tell me the church is rich, somebody who doesn't have light in his soul cannot be rich. So because the owner of the church didn't expose us to soul work, we don't have treasure. You don't pray for treasure. Treasure belongs to soul. The light of the soul. And it is the light of the soul that make gods. Now, to be a God is to be in charge for God. So you cannot be dark in your soul and want to be in charge for God. Please, can you look up? Let me stop it. If the third eye must come, I say if the what? Can I get the third eye? The third eye. Get me the third eye and third dimension. I want to show something before I stop. Now, if the third eye must appear, the 2 eyes that is looking at me now must be sure of where they are looking. The 2 eyes must be sure of where they are looking and then have ability to be steady in that direction. Because the third eye is not a gift. It is a product of the 2 eyes. No, the third eye is not a gift. It's a product of the 2 eyes. The 2 eyes should be sure of what it is seen. Now, if you, anybody that won any tangible battle on earth, I don't want to say it without somebody giving a seed. And I will give, if you give seed, I will allow you to write it down and remember it. What I'm about to say. And any source of power that doesn't know this, we fade. I am alive here and people are joining Illuminati for what? How can I be alive? You're looking for masters. Which master? You cannot look for Satan when the original is around. Excuse me, you can't look for power when the original is. I'm telling you the original. Now all this fake came from the original, and they didn't even get near because the knowledge is not their own. The knowledge is not their own. It is something they took from discernment or from magic. That knowledge belongs to God. Now, when I made three dimension, I brought triangle. Now, this symbol is not occultic. It belongs to God. But we don't know it. I say it belongs to God. This is two triangles. Now, anywhere you see this, don't joke. Somebody came up and he's telling you about the meeting of divinity with humanity. It's not occultism, it's not evil. It's the use. Now, if you look at this, there are two triangles, and I don't want to talk about the octave. The octave, that is the meeting of the two triangles that produce 8 points. That is a symbol of new beginning. And that is the mystery that brought the church. Jesus knew it. That is the octave. I said, Jesus know about this. I don't know whether I should keep on talking. Should I keep talking this thing? Please, I say this thing you see. This thing you see here is not evil. Except that the church is from God. Except that the church don't want to know about it. Now, it is this book that I wrote where the two eyes met. The two eyes. Please, I'm not going to explain this now, all of them now, but I will do it in the inner sanctuary with some people. Where you have one eye, two, and then they produce the third, which is the actual eye that represents this. Because these two must close at a point because it's natural. Now, those who don't want these two to close in death must keep looking, and then to make sure that the third is as sharp as the two. The third is as and then the only people that have ability to do it are those who behave similitude. And that's where I'm stopping. You have to have these two to produce one. This one. Now, we don't have two eyes here, we have only one. We have Only one. But this one, you see, is already as sharp as the two. Now, when the third is as sharp as the two, death is conquered in victory. Let me say in 1 minute, the only way it can be possible. The only way it can be possible. One way, the only way it can be possible is when a man has God in him and shun distraction completely. Some people already know distraction, but the entanglement they have cannot give them perfect victory over it. But don't forget that it is a blessing to know distraction. It is the first thing the spirit of vision teaches. The spirit of vision teaches you to shun distraction, because distraction devalues men. Devalues men. And it makes mockery of divinity. That is why when Satan wants to make people valueless, he engages them continuously onto distractions. Put your hand together for Jesus. Let me leave it. Now, I'm going to take 30 minutes now to share this. When I share this, what I'm about to share, it's still in part of this. Then you open the door. I will now continue with teaching. Pay attention. The God-man who rules both heaven and earth. I want to continue this in this course, in the second sharing. The God-man who rules. S is missing. Both heaven and the earth. The God-man who rules. Can you look up? Achieving something on earth is not as important as becoming something. Achieving something on earth is not as important as becoming something. Now, becoming something takes care of achieving something. I said, becoming something takes care of achieving something. The capital thing God men do is not to achieve something. The capital thing they do is to become something. God cannot deny you any destiny you can guide. And the guiding a destiny without worthiness is called manipulation. I say guiding without is called manipulation. So God avoided manipulation in Moses when he refused to send Moses to Egypt. I said when he refused, he said, Moses, see now, you are now a God, so you can go. So God didn't send Moses. He sent a God.